Live breaking news, CIA Director John Ratcliffe says there's going to be more intelligence and files released on the Russian collusion hoax. And in particular, specifically, this new intel drop directly implicates, dun dun dun, Hillary Clinton. Oh my gosh, you don't want to miss this. But wait, there's more. I have a clip of a confession made by Hollywood actor Kevin Spacey on the relationship between her husband, Bill Clinton, and Jeffrey Epstein. You don't want to miss that. Also, this is going to be a jam-packed show, y'all. President Trump now aiming for Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and Kamala Harris for dun 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 election fraud. Oh my goodness, you don't want to miss this. As well as I've got the last clip I'm going to share with you today. You want to stick around? Trust me, you don't want to miss this. President Trump answering a question about Matthew Thomas Crooks, the now deceased would-be assassin of Butler, Pennsylvania. It is heartfelt, it is cryptic, it is mystifying, it is oh so interesting. I have a lot to say about it. You don't want to miss this. First, I want to play this clip really quickly of President Trump absolutely nuking a reporter who asked him after he just made the biggest trade deal in history with the European Union. It is absolutely beneficial for all parties involved, in case you haven't heard about this. But one of the reporters actually had the audacity to ask him, did you rush this European Union trade deal to knock the Jeffrey Epstein story out? Listen to this quick reaction.
President, was part of the rush to get this deal done to knock the Jeffrey Epstein story out?
Oh, you got to be kidding with that. No, had nothing to do with it. Only you would think that. That had nothing to do with it.
This is just another of the latest new pathetic attempts by the Hippocrats, aka the Democrats, to smear this as some sort of a cover-up. Trump's in the Epstein list. He's got all this, photos with him, and he was involved. It couldn't be further from the truth. First of all, why would Michael Cohen, his disgraced, disgruntled former lawyer, who literally hates him with the loathing of 1,000 serpents, who has done nothing but lambaste President Trump for the last 5 to 10 years, why would he say that I never heard once? Michael Cohen, I never heard once. In the 10 years, 20 years I worked for him, I never heard once the mention of Jeffrey Epstein. Why would he say that? You tell me. And also, it's so interesting. You guys had 4 years, if not more. You were in control of the government for 12 of the last 16 years. Why wouldn't you, if there's so much incrimination for our president, President Trump, why wouldn't you bring this stuff out earlier, especially before the last election when you did everything but throw the kitchen sink at him? You tried to imprison him. You tried to assassinate him, smear him, discredit him. I mean, you did everything imaginable. Why wouldn't you release the Epstein files? I just want to play you this quick clip from one of my new rising stars in government, Representative Tim Burchett. I absolutely love this guy. He just puts it so succinctly and so adequately. Watch this.
Maybe there's a vote that will happen, that maybe Johnson has agreed to something on Epstein. You're obviously in the center of this. You're central to this legislation. Is there an agreement at this point?
No, ma'am, there's not. And honestly, if the Democrats were serious about this issue, they wouldn't have waited 4 years to bring it up. This is all politics. We need to be worrying about the victims in this thing, and we need to worry about justice and these dirt bags that were involved with these kids, and we need to publicly ridicule them and possibly hang them. But
oh, they love this guy. Hang them. Yes. Let's bring back hangings. Wouldn't you like to go attend just a good old fashioned hanging? I don't know about you, but I would. Lowest approval rating in the history of politics. Let me say that again. The Hippocrats, the Democrats, for all clarification, have factually, statistically, analytically the worst approval ratings in history. Gee, I wonder why. Okay, big news, breaking news. CIA Director Ratcliffe confirming that more evidence in the Russia collusion hoax is about to be released, and it directly implicates Hillary Clinton. Listen to what he says to Maria Bartiromo. This is huge. Watch.
Well, Maria, so part of what came out last week was about how John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, they all pushed the known fake Steele dossier into intelligence community assessments and as the basis for Crossfire Hurricane and all that. But what hasn't come out yet, and what's going to come out, is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims, by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. And so, you know, Pam Bondi does have a strike force. It is a different Department of Justice, a different FBI, and an opportunity to look at how these people really did conspire to run a hoax, a fraud, on the American people and against Donald Trump's presidency. And so coming forward, we understand that they did this, but now we need to understand how they did this. And I think that's why you see the left losing their minds over this, Maria, saying, why are you spending time? This is vindictive. You're going back. This is Donald Trump, you know, seeking retribution. It's not. Donald Trump's election by the American people was a statement, Maria. They said to everyone, we know what you did to Donald Trump, and we reelected him because we know this was all fake. We know it was a hoax. Now we want to understand how you did it so that it can't happen again. And that's what this declassification process that we're undergoing right now, what's going on, why it's so important, and why there can be accountability and preventability to prevent these same people that did it in 2016 with the Steele dossier, with the Hunter Biden laptop in 2020, from doing it again in the future.
I would say more than that, Director Ratcliffe. Not only do we know it's a hoax, and yes, we want to know how they architected this hoax, but I think the American people, and you let me know in the comments if you disagree with me, I think we want some accountability. They went after President Trump. You can't tell me they can't arrest these people, these principals involved, because they arrested our president. They arrested our guy on national television. They put him in sham trial after sham trial. They tried to do everything imaginable to him, and the American public stood firm, and we stood our ground. By the way, really quickly, this question was floated to me, and I think it's a really intriguing question. Let me know in the comments down below. By the way, all of the Defense Department, intelligence agencies, Caroline Leavitt, all the White House staff, they all watch this show. Let them know in the comments what you think. Do you think that if they arrested President Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, what have you, do you think that this would cause unrest and maybe even civil unrest across the nation in the United States of America? Or, because it didn't really cause, it didn't cause unrest with us when they arrested our guy. Obviously, there was a lot of people upset. I was upset. Everybody was upset, but we're not animals, right? What do you think would happen if they put President Obama in handcuffs, behind bars, having to face an arraignment, a trial for his acts of sedition? Let me know in the comments down below. Speaking of frauds, liars, and criminals, President Trump posted this very late last night saying, I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election and the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang, not one note, and left the stage to a booing and angry audience, which is 1,000,000,000% truthful and factual. Everybody expected her to sing. That's the only reason people showed up. It's been proven. I did 1,000 videos on this during the election cycle where Kamala Harris and the entire campaign bust in thousands of people through every campaign rally, etc., because nobody cared. Nobody cared about her. I mean, she didn't inspire one individual. I had Democrat insiders come on our show and tell us that everybody inside the inner circle was completely flummoxed, flustered, completely beside themselves. They couldn't believe how bad she was, that she was actually worse than Biden. So this is all true. So she never sang one note. $3 million for quote unquote expenses to Oprah. Remember that ridiculous, I mean, absolutely puke-inducing telethon or whatever Holly weirdo show that Oprah put on to support Kamala. She was paid $3 million to Oprah, $600,000 to a very low-rated TV anchor, Al Sharpton, which is absolutely true, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. By the way, this is all illegal. President Trump is 100% right here. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records. You are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break out. Kamala and all of those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And his signature ending. I love it. Pam, Dan, Cash, everybody involved. You have your hands full, but you got to get this stuff done. And you got to get this done a lot faster than you have been. Look at President Trump, how much this guy has achieved in less than 6-7 months. You got to keep up pace. This guy's 80 years old. He's working his butt off, never sleeps, works ceaselessly and tirelessly. You got to do something. It's now or never. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Pam, you botched the Epstein file with the influencers and the binders and the phase one, and I got documents on my desk. You can't botch this one. Okay, speaking of botched Epstein files, listen to this. This is absolutely a non-miss. This is really, really huge. Hollywood actor Kevin Spacey confessing to being on planes with Bill Clinton. And listen to what he says. It's so interesting. Watch this.
I was very fortunate that President Clinton introduced me a lot of business leaders in London because he knew I was coming to the Old Vic. Do you know who I never asked for anything? Was Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't want to be around this guy because I felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa because there were these young girls. And we were like, what? Who is this guy? So I will say this.
There were young girls on those flights?
There were young girls on those flights, yeah. And that's been out. They've talked about it. But here's my point. There's a big difference between not remembering that I met some guy and some woman on a humanitarian trip where my focus was entirely on what we were there to do and not remembering whether I went to somebody's island. So I never went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I did not know him, and I never saw him or her after that morning at Buckingham Palace. He didn't even come to Buckingham Palace.
Is it true that Prince Andrew sought your assistance and wanted you to testify that Ghislaine Maxwell was your guest, not his, during that Buckingham Palace tour?
I heard a report about that, but at no time did anyone ever contact me on his behalf. And as I say, I'm not friends with him. I never saw him after that day.
What do you think about what's happened to him?
I mean, I don't know anything about it. It's not, I'm not going to talk about someone else's scandal, you know.
This is like multiple different reports and sources confirming that Bill Clinton, never mind all the photographical evidence, video evidence, God knows what other evidence, President Trump has not been to the island once. And yeah, he knew him in the early 2000s. Yeah, he probably hung out with him. He hung out with everybody. Epstein was everywhere. I don't know anything about him being a Mossad agent or anything like that. I'll let Tucker handle that. It wouldn't be shocking to me. That's the problem here. You've got this haze of confusion. You've got this haze of mystification, which leads to a lot of conjecture, which leads to a lot of guessing. That's what you don't want. By being radically transparent, which is what got Trump where he is. And I'm not talking about Trump. Trump's being radically transparent. I'm talking about the people he's appointed. And I think you and I both knew who I'm talking to and who I'm referring to. You've got this cryptic message from Dan Bongino yesterday saying, I'm never going to be the same. What I've seen, I'll take to my grave. I'm shook to the core. That doesn't do anything. What does that do? Be transparent. Be specific. I think the American public can handle. After everything we've gone through, We are not kids. Don't stop treating us like kindergartners. We can handle it. Release everything. Give us everything you have. Go after the people who are accountable and get it done. Period. Our last story here today. I'm gonna be going a lot deeper into this. Probably this deserves its own video, but I want to share this with you. Maybe this could be kind of like a preview of what's to come soon. A reporter asks President Trump. It's been a year, by the way. It's been a year since Butler. How much a difference a year can make. Listen to his response when asked, how come we still don't have any information on this guy? Watch.
I find it a very interesting world that we know more about two people at a Coldplay concert just hours after that viral video than we know of Thomas Crooks 1 year after attempting to assassinate you. What is holding back the investigation on Thomas Crooks?
Well, they've reported to me and they've told me things, and they really say they haven't found anything that was abnormal. I would say this, the Secret Service was very brave because they were right there and they jumped on me. They made a mistake. They should have had somebody on that roof, and they should have had communication with the local police who also, I mean, they did a very good job, but they made some mistakes, and we have a whole different group of people now. I don't think anything can happen, but I think we have the best people anywhere in the world right now, and I think they've learned. And, they went into him very, in great detail. They gave me the whole thing. And what can I do? They say that it was just a nut job that was looking to do this. And I spoke with the FBI, the new FBI. I spoke to the FBI. If it was the old FBI, I wouldn't have believed a thing they said, because the old FBI under Comey was crooked as hell.
Man, I've got so many. First of all, nothing abnormal. I could think of 10 things abnormal just off the top of my head. The fact that he stood out like a sore thumb. He didn't look anything like somebody who frequents Trump rallies. He had a rangefinder. He was caught on the roof in a very sniper attack posture. He was walking around the grounds. He had a drone. I mean, he had multiple phones. There were reports that some of the phones were cryptic, offshore, foreign, international phones. And by the way, if it is just a nut job, why haven't we heard anything? Why haven't we heard anything, Cash? Why haven't we heard anything, Pam? I've got a lot more to say about this. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like my president is saddened by this, disappointed, and maybe a little bit, dare I say, huge letdown. You can feel it in his posture and his energy, and it just makes me crazy, because I feel like if this was any other president, if this was Clinton or Obama or, Biden, we would have had a full dossier, a full report, a full, a rap sheet, everything on this guy. We know everything about this guy. And, funny enough, he mentions the Coldplay guy. We knew more. We did know more about that couple in less than 24 hours. That reporter's, I don't know who that reporter is, but he's absolutely right. And incidentally, this guy's actually trying to sue Coldplay. I mean, this guy, wow, what an entitled, narcissistic heathen. Instead of, nothing says real man, right? Like blaming everybody else besides yourself for your own actions. So now he wants to sue Coldplay. I can't wait to get your thoughts, your comments on everything. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Tap that thumbs up if you love America. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us out immeasurably. Our mission here is to make common sense go viral and spread the truth, the unvarnished truth. So you can help us. You could even do it on your TV with your remote. Just tap that thumbs up, share this, watch the whole thing. If you want one of these amazing made in the USA original Nez Nation designs, the link to our shop is in the pinned comment and in the description. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.